expected in First Ward Park tonight, tied to a nationwide day of demonstrations marking the one-year anniversary of President Trump's return to office. Coming up, what organizers say they're calling for.
Despite flu cases going down, experts say death rates are still rising. The warning for parents as health experts are bracing for a possible second wave.
Well, what your kids eat at school could soon change.
That's right. We have verified how the food pyramid has evolved over the years and changed diets nationwide. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up on WCNC Plus.
All right, well, we're off to a busy start to the day. This is I-77 out near Woodlawn, mile marker 6. Lots of people up and starting their morning, but thankfully, we really haven't had a whole lot of wrecks right now. Not seeing anything too significant other than our typical delays on I-77 and I-85. Just this one crash right here, right around the airport if you're heading that way. It's on Old Dowd Road at Harley Avenue. We'll have more on traffic updates coming up on WCNC. All right, Chris.
All right, plain and simple, upper 40s today, sunshine, winds a little bit lighter, freezing in the mountains. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast shows a top 60 degrees on Thursday. Then we have rain. Then we have all the winter precipitation. So weather alert this weekend, especially Saturday night to Sunday morning.
Well, this morning we wanted to know your sleep type. Are you an early bird, a night owl, or bear waking up with the sun? You can text us at 704-329-3600. By the way, we have already heard from so many of you, and we'll take a look on WCNC Plus. But let's just say the early birds, they are singing this morning.
Tweet, tweet,
you are an early bird.
Yeah. Well, you're up with us, so that makes sense.
We certainly appreciate that. Again, make sure you join us streaming live on WCNC Plus starting at 7 o'clock this morning. And make it a great day. Enjoy the sunshine and the warm-ish temperatures today because things are changing over the weekend.
We'll have a lot more on WCNC Plus. Join us there.
All right, thanks for joining and waking up with us. You are watching WCNC Plus at 7. I'm Autumn Bracey and for Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start things off this hour with the check of your forecast. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy is standing by. Things not bad today. No real reasons to complain. I mean, it's cold, but it's the weekend that you're really already looking toward.
Exactly. And by the time you get to about Friday, we're already looking at some cooler, chillier temperatures, but it's really the cold air mass that moves in on Saturday before most of the precipitation arrives that we have a big problem on our hands. So sunshine today, focusing in on the good. Yesterday we had a high of 50 degrees. Today right around 48 degrees, so a 2-degree downgrade. Winds are averaging less than 10 miles per hour much of the day. We're still going to have an occasional gust of 20 miles per hour, but not as gusty as what we had yesterday. And our weekend forecast looks to be actually pretty wicked. This is the way things are trending right now. I think the only thing that'll change for the good is that somehow we get the system to move further north and we mainly get rain, or the precipitation amounts die down. We're not going to be able to avoid a cloudy, dreary, precipitation-filled weekend. I think that that's going to happen regardless. It's just about the what is going to come from the sky, especially in this sweet spot. It's Saturday heading into Sunday that I have the heaviest precipitation impact window that at any point you're either going to have accumulating freezing rain, icy roads regardless because snow is still ice, and then heavy snow as a possibility during that time frame. It just depends where you are. I think the further north you go, you're pretty much banking on snow. The further south, you're banking on ice. Boy, do I hope that we can get a majority rain. I know a lot of people want snow. I do not want to see the ice scenario because already we have a 50 to 70% probability that at least a quarter inch of ice or 2 to 3 inches of snow and sleet is going to be a possibility. This map, whenever you see this shade of blue this far out, you know, okay, this is something big. This one's going to be tough to avoid. It just all depends on the path. So going forward for our futurecast rainfall, I think we're seeing anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of precipitation possible throughout the entirety of the weekend. That is substantial. If you translate that over to snow, snow is usually a 10-to-1 ratio. So 1 inches of rain could sometimes lead up to 10 inches of snow. If you're talking about rain, this could be adding up as far as accumulating freezing rain. So we're going to watch that. So spending time on this, you can see that we have widespread ice that is starting to form already here on Friday evening around Dallas. This is going to be a quick moving system. That's the only thing that's kind of in our favor. We have some weaker precipitation during your Saturday afternoon, but it really starts to pick up during the evening. So if you have any plans, get them done in the morning. You could still see some passing snow, but roads don't rapidly deteriorate compared to what we're going to see earlier in the day. Then overnight, we're still keeping some overnight snow as a possibility. But my worst case scenario is that that snow is replaced by all freezing rain. That'd be straight rain that's freezing onto everything, and we're staying below freezing during this time frame. So I'm going to go through all the models, showing you some scary numbers, but again, these are just numbers for the time being. But we get back to around 60 degrees on Thursday, rain around 50 degrees on Friday, but then weather alert for the weekend, especially late Saturday night, heading into Sunday, and staying below freezing for at least 24 to about 30 hours, which is really going to add to the extra slick spots. So that's even on Monday. There's a good chance the kids won't have school really across the area. All right, there it is. This is the hour of fender benders. I think Majestic already has one to start off 7 o'clock.
All right, good morning, everyone. It's been actually pretty quiet so far this morning with lots of people now out on those roads hitting that 7 o'clock hour, heading back to work today, getting those kids up and ready for their school day as well. This is I-77, our South Carolina cameras. You can tell it's busy, but again, no significant concerns. This is I-77, what it looks like here, mile marker 6 out near Woodlawn. So once we switch it over to this is our newest crash. This will be our inbound lanes on Kenilworth Ave at Charlottetown. You can see a crash here involving 2 cars, likely going to be blocking this lane for now until they get it cleared at this point. So we'll continue to keep a close eye on that. Otherwise, we do have our typical delays on I-77. If you are heading to the airport this morning, most areas will be fine. There is one reported crash out by the airport. It's Old Dowd Road at Hartley Ave. This is what we're watching for now. We'll have another check call coming up soon.
Thank you, Majestic. This morning, we're learning more about how the local nonprofit Sustain Charlotte is seeking solutions after a pedestrian was hit and killed. This push comes after the death of 25-year-old Lance Leto last week in Noda. Now folks are calling on city leaders to bring back red light cameras for the first time in 20 years. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane joins us live this morning from the plaza with more on the history of red light cameras here in Charlotte. Richard.
Yeah, good morning to you, Autumn. Good morning, Lisa. Good Tuesday morning to everyone on the Plus. A lot of folks are concerned about that incident that took the life of Lance right here at the Plaza in 36th Street. They say the city, we once had these red light cameras that they say help deter incidents like this. And one group says it's time to bring them back. That group, Sustain Charlotte, says safer streets are urgently needed. This after someone struck and killed Lance Sotelo as he was trying to cross the street. That incident adds to the growing concerns about pedestrian safety across our city. The group believes red light cameras could be a tool to help reduce dangerous driving behavior. You know, we previously had these red light cameras. We had them from 1998 to 2006. During that time, WCNC found out that data showed intersection crashes dropped by about 30%. The program captured drivers who ran red lights and mailed citations to those offenders, but it was eventually suspended due to financial concerns. Basically, the city wasn't able to recoup the money it was spending on the cameras. Advocates say bringing the cameras back could help change driver behavior and prevent future tragedies. City leaders have considered the idea again, but as they did that as part of Vision Zero plan, but instead of prioritizing the red light cameras, they instead prioritize speed cameras after determining that speeding was contributing to more fatal crashes. Sustain Charlotte says the cameras would help reduce these type of incidents as well. Take a listen.
It shouldn't be your last trip, whether you're leaving your house, going to work, doing what you need to do. That should not be a fatal decision. Red light cameras plus a bunch of other different techniques and design changes need to be put in as soon as possible because this is an emergency. People are dying and losing their lives.
I think
And we had one other person who says that they think that basically the red light cameras could help after the fact. If someone runs a red light, they get a ticket, or if they, in the case, hit someone and drive away, help get that offender. But they say this particular person that we're going to hear from said that they don't believe that it would actually stop people from speeding through the red lights and causing incidents like the tragedy that happened to Lance. Now, as far as some states, they don't have red light cameras and have actually banned them. One of those states, South Carolina. We're right here on the plaza. Richard Devane, we'll send it back to you.
Richard, thanks so much. 7:08 now. An investigation is underway following a shooting in Pageland. The Chesterfield County Sheriff's Office told us it happened on McCray Road, that's just off Boyd Evans. The Sheriff's Office says several agencies are involved in the investigation. At this time, we are working to find out if there were any injuries. We've also yet to hear back about a suspect. Today, the man accused of setting a fire that injured a firefighter in North Charlotte will appear in court. Police say 29-year-old Kendrick Palmer used a flammable liquid to set that fire at this storage facility on Reams Road last Thursday. $10,000 in damage was reported. The firefighter was treated for minor injuries. Palmer faces multiple charges, including arson. He's being held without bond. After nearly a decade as a fugitive, Alejandro Castillo, one of the FBI's most wanted suspects, is another step closer to facing justice in Charlotte. Castillo, who is accused of killing 23-year-old Sandy Lee in 2016, was captured in Mexico over the weekend. He was caught after surveillance video showed him crossing into Mexico a day after Lee's body was discovered. Attorney Tim Kennedy, who has experience with similar cases, says the extradition process is a lengthy one that involves several agencies, including the FBI, U.S. Marshals, and Homeland Security.
Between 60 and 90 days, I will say, even when we're talking about interstate fugitives, the transfer schedules are kept very, very secretive. When you're dealing with somebody like this, who has been on the top 10 most wanted,
Kennedy says given Castillo's history, he expects the court to keep him in jail without bond. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court is expected to release several major decisions.
They include a high-profile case on whether states can ban transgender athletes from competing on girls' sports teams. Both North and South Carolina, along with 25 other states, currently have these bans in place. Early signs suggest the court may uphold them. It comes as healthcare providers like Charlotte Trans Health are seeing rising demand, with more families seeking guidance and support.
Just in the last year, we doubled the amount of services that we were doing and folks that we were seeing because of the need being so high. Because what we're really talking about is who it's okay to be in this world and belonging.
While we could hear opinions from the court on the case today, experts say this one will likely take longer. Happening today, the Charlotte Speech and Hearing Center is opening a new clinic in Belmont. Officials say the expansion comes at a critical time as the need for speech-language services across the area has increased. The ribbon cutting is open to the community and starts at noon on Wilkinson Boulevard. Time now 7:11. Tension is rising in Minnesota as federal officials prepare for possible next steps, while active duty soldiers are now on standby.
.13 now. Federal officials say the Pentagon has told about 1,500 active duty soldiers to be ready in case they are needed in Minnesota. The move comes as protests continue 2 weeks after an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Good.
The Department of War would not confirm or deny this report, but said it is always prepared to carry out presidential orders. To the possibility of troops deploying to Minnesota, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey responded on Meet the Press.
That would be a shocking step. To those that are paying attention, you got to understand how wild this is right now. In Minneapolis, crime is dramatically down. You know what's causing more chaos? Having these thousands of ICE agents and border control and apparently military even potentially on our streets.
This follows President Trump's warning he may invoke the Insurrection Act amid growing unrest there.
The president is escalating his push to take control of Greenland, telling Norway's leader that losing the Nobel Peace Prize frees him to focus on what he believes is best for the United States. At the same time, European Union countries are weighing how to respond to his tariff threats. As NBC's Alice Barr reports, one of Trump's strongest allies in Congress is downplaying any possibility of a military move on Greenland.
President Trump overnight leaving the National Football Championship in Florida and looking ahead to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland.
It's going to be a very interesting Davos,
where he'll come face to face with many of the European leaders antagonized by his intensifying push to take control of Greenland and tariff threats against 8 countries and close allies standing in his way.
I don't think they're going to push back too much. Look, we have to have it. They have to have this done. They can't protect it.
The president responding to a revelation from Norway's prime minister, who says he reached out about Greenland and that President Trump replied in part, quote, "Considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace." The Norwegian leader pointing out the Nobel Committee selects the prize winners, not Norway's government. President Trump rejecting that.
If anybody thinks that Norway doesn't control the Nobel Prize, they're just kidding.
While adding that he doesn't care about the prize. That as President Trump declined to answer when NBC News asked if he would take Greenland by force. Close Republican allies downplayed that idea.
I don't foresee military intervention in Greenland. It's a small population of people, and I think diplomatic channels is the way to go. And I think
the president maintains the U.S. needs to own Greenland to guard against what he sees as threats from Russia and China to take it over, all amid the growing risk of a fresh trade war with close allies. European leaders holding an emergency summit this week deciding how to respond to the new U.S. tariffs, including potentially what's known as the trade bazooka. It's never been used and would allow EU members to impose broad retaliatory measures, even as many are calling to de-escalate. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
President Trump is threatening to slap 200% tariffs on French wine and champagne, a move seen as pressure on President Emmanuel Macron to join his new Board of Peace. Wine and spirits from the EU currently face a 15% tariff, and the U.S. remains the biggest buyer of French wine. Macron, however, plans to decline the invitation, even as several other nations consider joining the board tied to a UN-backed plan for Gaza. French officials say the charter's broader reach across the Middle East is a major concern. The standoff adds another layer to already strained U.S.-European trade relations.
Well, your 5 a.m. wake-up time may not actually do much to help you. We'll have more on why health experts say the viral trend does more harm than good. Stay with us.
Good morning, everyone. I want to mention something. So I keep on mentioning the snow and what could be happening. I'm just letting you know, this is our Futurecast wind chills. This is 7 a.m. on Sunday, that we could have a wind chill of 4 degrees. So we're talking about the coldest wind chill that we've had so far. 13 degrees right around 6 p.m. and then later on your Sunday afternoon, still feeling like 11. So not only do we have a chance for a winter storm warning, we also have a chance for a cold weather advisory that's along with this. So here it is, plain and simple. Our impact forecast, even though we have a chance for impact Saturday night, and all of Sunday, I think it's during this time frame from Saturday evening through Sunday morning into the afternoon is where we have our biggest impacts as far as the most accumulations that are happening with this winter storm, the most snow, the most ice, or all the above. That's a big question mark. Is it more snow or is it more ice? It's not about if it's going to happen. It's more about what's going to be the case and scenario. Now, there's one thing that could limit this. It could be weak sauce amount of moisture. Right now, it's showing 1 to 2 inches of precipitation that could even be translated over to snow or to pure ice. But regardless of what happens precipitation-wise, we're going to have wind chills less than 20 to even less than 10 degrees during this time frame, which isn't great in my opinion. So yeah, you're gonna see these jumping up and down from the single digits, not really improving too much heading into your Monday, and even on Tuesday morning, we have wind chills around 0 to 1. So we even have a chance for an extreme cold warning on Tuesday. So put that in perspective. We have a winter storm warning, cold weather advisory, and a chance for an extreme cold warning 2 days after that. Because oftentimes whenever you have fresh snow and ice, it can keep the atmosphere very cold. So I want to talk about snow. This right here is actually your best friend. You'd rather have a lot of snow than any ice comparisons. This one is also known as the European model. The European model has been the most trustworthy. Usually it's the GFS that goes kind of bananas. Well, GFS is actually keeping this as more of an ice event with snow to the north. So plain and simple. There's so many scenarios to play out, but please just be weather alert and plan ahead to not travel, especially Saturday night and Sunday morning and beyond. All right, let's get right over to the travel queen herself. Majestic, what's going on, my friend?
Good morning, everyone. Well, it's definitely getting busy out there. 722, here's I-85 over at mile marker 35 out near Brookshire. So you can see people are up and traveling, ready for their day. One thing that I'm following this morning is this crash here involving 2 cars. One lane is going to be blocked because of it. Inbound lanes on Kenilworth Ave at Charlottetown. So we'll continue to keep you up to date until that is completely cleared. Here's my map. We're following this stalled vehicle, also not cleared, seeing delays coming in really both north and southbound. Now only are we seeing 1 lane blocked because of this stalled vehicle. For the northbound lanes, the southbound lanes is just our typical traffic. This is going to be at exit 35, Glenwood Drive to exit 36. That's Brookshire Boulevard. Again, 1 lane closed because of a stalled vehicle on I-85.
Thanks, Majestic. Well, if you've been a bit more tired than usual, let's hope you haven't started a new sleep trend.
Our report shows a lot of people are not getting the recommended amount of sleep each night, and sleep experts are specifically warning about a viral social media trend of getting up at 5 a.m. It says a person's ideal time to wake up is related to their chronotype. Well, we took a look at them earlier this morning. Most of us are bears. Those are people who naturally wake up when the sun rises, but maybe you are an early bird or perhaps a night owl. Also, folks who don't sleep well at all, they're dolphins. So, of course, we are all forced to be early birds because of our early morning work shift. But Chris is the only true early bird. There you go. Who knew?
So on your days off, what time do you wake up?
Usually about 6 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But then when I'm off, I usually go to bed after midnight.
I love it. All right. Well, earlier we asked what you all were, and here's the breakdown of what the responses we received so far. All right. Early bird, night owl, or bears. We have, 70% early birds. Well, that makes sense because you're up early with us watching. 12% night owls, 12% dolphins. That means you're not sleeping great. And 6% are bears. All right. Now we know.
So many worm getters. This is great.
So many. Well, we need to take a quick break. We'll make sure that you keep it right here, streaming live on WCNC+. We're coming back at 7:30 with another check of your weather and traffic on this Tuesday morning.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is sunny but January cold today. We get a little bit milder over the next couple of days, and then a winter storm is lurking for the weekend. Current temperatures right now, 25 degrees, the coldest so far this morning, 19 degrees right around Rock Hill. Sun's about to rise up in 3 minutes, and typically this is when we hit our low temperature for the day. Sunshine across the board, high temperatures in the mid to the upper 40s today, and barely or not even a cloud in the sky. High temperatures today, 48 degrees around Charlotte, 29 for you in Boone, 45 right around Morganton. And we accelerate towards the weekend. We have quite the scenario, a chance for snow, freezing rain, sleet, Saturday night heading into Sunday. So we're watching this closely. Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast is around 60 on Thursday before things turn through the weekend into next week. All right, Majestic, what's rocking for this morning's commute?
Good morning, everyone. Well, it's definitely busy as more people are heading back to work today. Kids are heading back to class as well. This is what we're seeing on I-85 there over at mile marker 35. You can see lots of people up and starting their day. One thing to know before you head out the door, it's right here. It's going to be one lane that's closed because of a stalled vehicle on I-85 northbound between exits 35 and 36. And then out towards I-485, we have a shoulder that's blocked out by Rocky River Road.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Autumn Bracey in for Ben Thompson. At 7:30, we're going to check in with Chris. I know we're anticipating that wintry precipitation, but for now, we're just dealing with some cooler weather.
Yeah, just colder weather for now, but what if I told you after the winter storm, it's going to get even colder? So boy, do we have a winter blast on the way. Just letting you know, if you were planning on being really active this weekend, don't. Maybe you want to find something else. Because yes, there is still a chance. I've already seen the comments on Facebook. People's like, I'll believe it when I see it. Hey, I'm just letting you know some of the models that I'm looking at are unbelievable just because of how high some of those totals are. So this is one of those deals that I don't think that we're avoiding it. The only silver lining we have is maybe we have less precipitation or less ice. But regardless, I think you see snow and I think you see ice. Right now, it's just cold. It's a sunny afternoon. We will have a little bit of warm up before that winter weather takes over. So plain and simple, late Saturday and Sunday. I've expanded past Sunday morning because we had that before because it looks like the worst of the precipitation, I think, is late Saturday and the first half of your Sunday. But if we have ice and we have snow with no sunshine and temperatures are below freezing, those icy conditions aren't going to waver much. Of course, they'll be out treating the roads and salt will help that out. But slick roads and power outages are going to be a real possibility. I am probably going to try to keep these fingers like this until we get to Saturday and Sunday, because if we are picking up some of these ice totals that are represented on these models, you're looking at widespread power outages with even colder temperatures behind this system. So just be prepared to stay home. And it's at this point, before people realize, oh, this is actually happening. Like for us personally, we're going grocery shopping today. That was already planned. It's this time, maybe you want to grab a few of those extra things. This is not pandemic pandemonium, not trying to get everyone to go out there, but just be prepared for maybe a weekend in on Sunday and maybe more. This is just kind of the ready, set gear, because watch this scenario. We have this one system that's developing right over here in Texas. It's rain south of Texas to Austin, Houston, and it's the northern part of Texas that's dealing with that rain-snow line. It's that area of pink that can be nature's most treacherous element. We see our first signs of snow arrive as early as Saturday morning. We could see some flurries that are flying across the area, but it's the area of pink that's slowly lurking its way to the north, heading into your Saturday evening. It's at this point we're going to be on the division for some heavy snow or all freezing rain. And this freezing rain will likely be encountering overnight Saturday heading into Sunday, which, by the way, an overnight event with a chance of freezing rain is the worst case scenario because it's much colder. Oftentimes we're around 32 degrees and we have a chance of freezing rain. There's a chance we could be well down into the 20s, close to 20 degrees when all this happens. So we're watching this closely, and eventually things are going to fade out by your Sunday afternoon to the evening, and then we just have a rough start to your Monday morning. That's why I'm thinking that schools are likely going to go ahead and be canceled for Monday morning across the board. As far as our weather impact window, the heaviest precipitations from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. for a chance of freezing rain, icy roads, and heavy snow. Coming up, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the temperatures, where they go. I'll show you on that 7-day forecast, even the 10-day outlook, because it's not good, especially one day where we could have our first extreme cold weather, extreme cold warning that we've had so far this season. More on that coming up, but first let's get right over to Majestic, who has a mighty fine shot of I-77.
Oh, it's gorgeous outside. Cold, but at least your car's not so frosted over like it was yesterday right around this time. This is I-77 near Westinghouse, where conditions are looking great as you're heading out the door. Yeah, it's starting to get a little busier, of course, but we would anticipate that. This is what it looks like coming in from South Carolina, so York County, heading into Mecklenburg County. Definitely busy, but again, not seeing any significant delays other than what we would typically already see right here. Never a good sign, but kind of the ordinary at this point. One thing I'm watching is this right here. It's one lane that's closed because of a stalled vehicle. It's on I-85 northbound. I think they're clearing it to the shoulder, so not going to see a lot of impacts, but it's going to be between exits 35 and 36. So be prepared for that as you're heading out the door. And then the other thing to let you know about, it's on I-485 on the shoulder. There's an accident, so it's blocking the shoulder now. I-485, the outer loop at Rocky River Road. Lisa.
Majestic, thanks. 7:35 now. Happening today, a man will face a judge for the first time after a deadly crash in Rowan County. According to Highway Patrol, Juan Alvarado Aguilar was driving on Amity Hill Road Friday night when he crossed the center line and hit a Honda Civic. The driver and passenger of that car, 21-year-old Mark Harris and Skylar Provenza, were both killed. Aguilar now faces multiple charges, including felony death by vehicle and DWI. He's in jail with a $250,000 bond.
The UNC system is launching its first basic law enforcement training academy. Campus police recruits previously completed training at a variety of locations across North Carolina. The new academy will allow the UNC system to bring cadets together in a single setting. They say this will help strengthen collaboration and provide a shared foundation tailored to the public safety needs of university campuses.
Doctors are reporting progress when it comes to the number of flu cases. Across the country, cases are finally starting to decline. That includes here in North Carolina.
Data shows as of January 14th, just under 7% of ER visits in the state were related to the flu. That's down about 12% the week before. Hospital admissions because of the flu also decreased 46%.
Now, the not so good news, the deaths linked to the flu are trending up, and health experts are bracing for the possibility of a second wave of the virus. Right now, pediatricians are urging parents to help protect their kids by making sure that both they and their children get the flu shot.
Children, especially under the age of 2, they're pretty small. And when they're still small, you get something that's just so inflammatory, like influenza. When it gets into your lungs, it causes a lot of inflammation. By protecting yourself against influenza, you're also protecting everybody in your family.
Dr. Frank Esper, who you saw there, also says washing your hands and avoiding highly touched surfaces can also help prevent the spread.
Well, today across the nation and right here in Charlotte, protesters plan to take to the street voicing their opposition to President Trump. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards joins us live this morning from Uptown, where later tonight people plan to gather in hopes that their voices are going to be heard. Destiny.
Yeah, today is one of several protests happening across the nation. And this is a protest here in Charlotte that organizers say is about seeking a stop to ICE operations in the city. They're also seeking an end to, or seeking justice for Renee Good, Keith Porter, and other people they say have been impacted by immigration enforcement. All of these protests happening today also are on the 1-year anniversary since the start of President Trump's second term. Now, organizers with the Party for Socialism and Liberation Charlotte say tonight's protest will begin at 5 p.m. at First Ward Park. They're calling the action Stop ICE Terror, accusing the Trump administration of using federal immigration enforcement in ways they say target working class and immigrant communities. The Charlotte protest is one of many happening across the country today as national groups, including Women's March, call for a Free America walkout. Supporters are being encouraged to walk out of work or school at 2 p.m. local time or participate before or after work hours as a collective response to concerns over immigration policy, labor issues, and civil rights. Now, today's protest is being backed by several organizations, including Carolina Migrant Network, Jewish Voice for Peace Charlotte, and many others. Organizers say this is about calling for accountability, justice, and they are seeking immigration reform. I'll send it back to you guys in studio.
All right, Destiny, thanks so much for that live report. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker just wrapped up his speaking tour through parts of South Carolina. Booker gave the keynote speech Monday at the annual King Day at the Dome event in Columbia. We brought that to you live here on WCNC+. The senator says folks can focus on local elections to impact real change.
And we don't carry with us the fierce urgency of now, then we have failed as inheritors. We have squandered the wealth. We have surrendered the power. Because what can you say of the American dream today? Well, I will tell you what I believe. I believe it is time that in our generation, we redeem the dream.
Well, check this out. Democrats in 12 states, including North and South Carolina, are vying to lead the 2028 presidential primary calendar. This move comes as the party weighs its strategy after problems with the 2020 Iowa caucus. South Carolina previously held the first Democratic primary in 2024. The DNC says a panel will review applications later this month. Well, question for you. Are you looking for a change in careers? Today, Grandfather Mountain is inviting folks out to their job and volunteer fair. The Linville-based nonprofit Nature Park and Preserve is hiring in multiple departments with seasonal and year-round positions as well as summer internships. This fair kicks off this afternoon around 3 p.m. Attendees will get to chat with current staff and even have a chance to win prizes. At 7:40, global power players are gathering, and President Trump is stepping into the spotlight with a high-stakes message, what he plans to pitch on the world stage coming up.
time is 7:43. Take a look at this. What you're seeing is the Empire State Building. It's lit in crimson and cream to honor Indiana University's big football win last night. The New York City landmark glowed in IU's colors for an hour to celebrate the team's 27-21 victory over the Miami Hurricanes in the College Football Playoff National Championship last night. The win, by the way, marks the first national title in its program history. Congratulations to them.
Well done. Well, as we flip the calendar over to 2026, all 50 states, well, they're getting ready to celebrate America's 250th birthday. And while July 4th is several months away, now is a great time to start planning.
Reporter Jen Sullivan highlights the nation's big celebrations and some of the top spots to visit.
From sea to shining sea, communities across the country are planning celebrations to mark the 250th anniversary of the adoption of the Declaration of Independence.
This is a historic milestone for our country.
Rosie Rios is the chair of the America 250 organization. They've been planning this for years.
We want people to be able to feel like this is as community-driven and grassroots as possible.
The America250.org site has a calendar that breaks down all the planned events in each state, and more will be added. As for the big celebrations, Rio says Wednesday, July 1st, the Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library in North Dakota kicks off a celebration of the American West. Thursday, July 2nd, there's pending legislation to bury a time capsule in Philadelphia to commemorate 250 years of American history. Friday, July 3rd, the official countdown to Independence Day with a star-spangled ball drop in New York City's Times Square. Then, on the rivers where Revolutionary War battles were fought, Manhattan will be surrounded by a display of ships new and old from multiple countries, including Great Britain.
This will be the premier national event for America.
On July 4th, dozens of historic tall ships will sail an 11-mile stretch of the Hudson River, as well as multiple Allied and U.S. naval vessels, and overhead, more than 100 aircrafts, including the Blue Angels, will be in the sky. The international tall ships will be on display from July 3rd through the 8th, and visitors will be allowed to board them.
When you set foot on board a tall ship, you're setting foot on sovereign foreign territory.
There are also several celebrations being held on July 4th weekend in Washington, D.C., hosted by Freedom 250. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Well, nearly 3,000 global leaders are gathering in Switzerland this week for the World Economic Forum. Economic uncertainty, global conflicts, and the rise of artificial intelligence are set to dominate the agenda. President Donald Trump is headlining the event and plans to use his speech to promote his economic message, including efforts to make housing more affordable. Trump also is expected to face some questions about his recent geopolitical moves, including tensions with European allies over Greenland. The White House says he'll highlight investment commitments aimed at boosting jobs and growth.
U.S. stock futures have slipped after President Trump threatened a 10% tariff on imports from 8 European countries over their opposition to U.S. control of Greenland. European leaders issued a rare joint rebuke warning the tariff threat could damage transatlantic relations. Major indices in Germany, France, and the U.K. all closed lower, and the U.S. futures were down even as Wall Street remained closed for MLK Day.
One storm, 3 potential paths. I'm just letting you know the path of all rain is no longer looking likely. It's either snow or ice or both. I'll have everything you need to know about this upcoming storm system and also showing you some way too early models that are interesting. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. So as I mentioned, there are 3 potential paths that come with this system. It all originates right here over Texas, and it cruises in this fashion. One path, the further that you go just off the shoreline, could lead to more snow. The one that is directly on the shoreline brings us the rain-snow line and more of that ice potential. And if it somehow takes a beeline to the north through Charlotte, we're getting all rain. This top one does not look likely. Instead, it's more of the middle line. The most ice is the most commonality here, but there's a chance if we have the most snow, because the reason why, you have the center of the low pressure system, and up to about 100 miles north and northwest is usually where you have the most intense snow, and that looks like it is going to set up over our area. But talking about just the ice, this has come up a little bit. The one thing that I think the models are doing a terrible job about handling is how much precipitation there actually is going to be. If this is showing 1 to 2 inches of precip, this is going to be a historic winter storm. Do I think that's going to happen? No. Could it? Well, absolutely. Could it actually fizzle out? Yes, but honestly, it's very rare to have a situation like this that is still 4 to 5 days out that is starting to have a lot of consensus, and that's what we always look for, some sort of agreement. So this is Model 1 that's usually out to lunch. This one's showing more ice south of I-85 and more snow further off towards the north. Now, Model 2, this is the European model. Watch what happens with this one. This one has up to an inch of ice. At that point, Lancaster is completely shut down, so is Rockingham. I do not think that's a possibility, because I don't think all of this is going to fall as freezing rain. I think there's going to be some snow. There's going to be some sleet. Sleet actually lowers the totals the most, because it's usually up to about 8 inches of snow equates to about 2 inches of sleet overall. But all in all, I think all of us have a chance to see ice. All of us have a chance to see snow. So snow lovers, rejoice. You actually have the best shot that I've seen in quite some time. But ice is an absolutely dreadful scenario, because check it out. The impacts of any accumulation that's a quarter or less is just ice on trees. You could have some scattered power outages, mainly from some decaying branches that could come down. And you want to avoid travel if you can, because truly, once you get up to a quarter inch, that's where things really start to turn on you. Quarter to a half inch is where you have icy roads. You have broken tree limbs, and numerous power outages are a possibility. Now, here's the worst case scenario. Anything that's a half inch or more, because at this point, that's heavy enough to weigh down the power lines that any sort of breeze can snap them. This could lead to long-term power outages, and with the cold air that filters in behind this, that's not what you like to see. Widespread tree damage as well, and the roads are completely impassable. A half inch of ice or more shuts down a city and shuts down an area. I'm hoping that that doesn't come to fruition, but regardless, we have at least a quarter inch of ice or 2 to 3 inches of snow, a 50 to 70% chance across the area, with much higher totals the further you go off towards the north. So here on WCNC Plus, it's very fluid. At the top of the next 8 o'clock hour, I'm going to put my weather bookmark right here. I want to show you some of the other models that I'm looking at, and then we're going to get right to our temperatures where they're trending. But first, Majestic has a look outside on the road to see what's going on this morning.
All right, good morning, everyone. It is still busy outside, that's for sure. Lots of people are up and starting their day, but as far as accidents are going, we've actually had an all right start to the morning. This is I-77 near Westinghouse, where you can see lots of cars out there, busy conditions if you're coming in from York County into Mecklenburg County. Only one icon popping up on my map right now, so while it's not perfect and we definitely still have a lot of red out here, this is the one thing you need to know as you're heading out. One lane currently closed. This is not because of an accident, it's actually a stalled vehicle on I-85 northbound. They're trying to clear it off to the shoulder. You could see those impacts between exit 35, that's Glenwood Drive, to exit 36, that's Brookshire Boulevard. Once we're heading over towards the east, this is 485, the outer loop, where we're seeing those impacts because of an accident. Right now, it's just the shoulder that's blocked, but it's the outer loop at Rocky River Road East. No ice out on those roads right now, but Lisa, a few things that people want to know as they're preparing for the upcoming weather this week.
That's right, Majestic. And as we head to break, we're going to share some things to keep in mind when you are driving in these upcoming wintry weather conditions that we're talking about headed our way this weekend. So just a few reminders. First, smooth is safe. No hard braking, no sharp turns or quick acceleration while you're driving through those conditions if you have to be out. Make sure that if you are skidding, that you steer through a skid. Just take your foot off of your pedal and gently steer your vehicle in the direction that you want it to go. Also, make sure that you increase your space, the amount of space space between you and other cars. You should leave 3 to 4 times more distance than you typically do. Also, don't forget to watch bridges and overpasses. For those who take routes that use those bridges and the overpasses, know that they freeze before other roads. And last, and certainly very important, no cruise control on slick roads and surfaces. It is important to have full control of your car. You don't want to be in cruise control, because if anything looks wet, make sure that you treat it like ice. But we're going to take a quick break, and make sure that you keep it right here, streaming live on WCNC Plus. 26 degrees. The good thing right now, the winds are calm, so it actually feels like 26. We'll be right back.
All right, everybody, look at these beautiful blue skies. High temperatures in the mid to the upper 40s. Beautiful day overall. We will have occasional wind about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then the mid to the upper 40s. I have a high of 48 today and 49 right around Rockingham, 53 in Lancaster. It looks like overnight tonight, 21 degrees is going to be the low tomorrow. That'll be the coldest of the work week, but just wait. Check it out. Temperatures dropping down to 18 degrees on Tuesday. Tuesday could have a wind chill near 0. That's right. Meanwhile, the reason why we're getting so cold is because of a chance at some winter weather. We're talking about ice accumulation, snow accumulation across the area starting late on Saturday night, and through Sunday. We're going to have some rough roads. Keep that in mind. So our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast, this is the sweet spot. Either side of 50 in the next couple of days with sunshine, around 60 degrees on Thursday before rain and winter weather rolls in for the weekend. All right, let's get over to Majestic for a look at our morning commute.
Good morning, everyone. This is I-77. This is what you'll encounter as you're heading out the door. Mile marker 7 near Clanton. No big problems there. We are following this one stalled vehicle. It's bringing some impacts on I-85, those northbound lanes. A little bit of a slowdown because of the stalled vehicle between exits 35 to 36. We're following everything else for you coming up on WCNC Plus.
Well, thanks so much for waking up with us. You are watching WCNC Plus at 8. I'm Autumn Bracey in for Vin Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We begin this hour with another check on the WCNC weather impact forecast. Chris has been monitoring what we are anticipating coming this weekend, a mix of precipitation.
Not overlooking today. Today is beautiful. It's sunny, right around 48 degrees. And we were complaining about the cold, but what if I told you there's a chance for ice, snow, high temperatures in the 20s, feeling like the single digits throughout the day? You're like, oh, no, 48 and sun. That sounds great, because that's essentially what your Sunday is going to be. So what I've showed you right here is your impact forecast Saturday evening to Sunday at around 1 o'clock. And the reason why I chose this window is because I was looking at the models, and this is going to change. By tomorrow, completely different time frame. This is the way that things work. That's why you stay with us, to be up with the changes. But during this time frame right now looks to be the heaviest precipitation. So it doesn't matter if it's snow, doesn't matter if it's ice, that's just where things are going to be the heaviest. So that's where things are going to be the worst as far as any impacts go. And on top of that, we have just enough of a wind chill that will be less than 20 degrees to even less than 10. I have wind chills that are anywhere from 0 to 10 on and off through your Sunday morning. So that's not going to be a great drive. So that's going to be a weather alert window that really starts late Saturday through the entirety of your Sunday. But it's really right here that I think it's a sweet spot, the most active 12 hours that we have going forward. I mentioned the ice, and that's what I ended last time with, and I will get back to that. But here's what our snow models are showing. First off, the Euro is usually Mr. Dependable. Well, Euro is actually calling for more snow. Meanwhile, if you move over to GFS, that is the American model, it's showing a split. There's two different GFS models I can show you. This one has more snow the further north that you go, and then this one has no snow at all for Charlotte. It's pretty much just all an ice event. None of them are good. If you're a snow lover, I would personally like the snow because you can drive in snow. You just have to slow down. People are also more aware to slow down in snow compared to the ice situation, because a lot of people is like, oh, it's just raining. Oh, wait, no, that's actually accumulating into ice. So there's still a lot of information that needs to filter in. And once we get to about 4 days out, 3 to 4 days specifically, we see a lot more of these models that are giving us another hand at this, another look at what potentially is happening. So I was showing you this rain total map earlier on WCNC Plus. This one right here is showing just precipitation in general. Numbers up and over an inch, 1 to 2 inches. Well, that has to freeze over to something eventually. That's where we have the biggest cause of concern. Where if you look at our futurecast models, some of them are showing as much as a ½ inch of ice. And I was showing you a different graphic earlier. I made this one years ago. This is the really status of a crippling status. I hope this does not come to fruition. I'm not saying this will happen, but if that ends up coming to fruition and we have a ½ inch of ice, that's talking about widespread tree and power line damage where power could be out for days. That's the worst case scenario. That's not what we need. And the reason why I'm a little concerned that this is a bigger ice event than what we've had in the past, most of our freezing rain precipitation chances are, it's 32 degrees. If we get the worst of the precipitation, let me show you, 20 degrees for a low on Sunday, that means we are well below freezing. That means everything's freezing on contact. A lot can change, a lot will change. I'm just really hoping for snow right now over any of that freezing rain. It's prettier, and plus kids can make snowballs. All right, let's get right over to Majestic to see what it's looking like outside and what's slowing you down.
All right, we're following a new accident to let you know about. Let's start with this perspective first, just to show you what I'm talking about exactly. It's going to be near Uptown right here. This is I-77 southbound at Trade Street, close to 5th Street, exit 10 here. So that's where we're seeing those delays, southbound lanes all in red. Now, this is one of my cameras closest to it, and I wanted to show you again, southbound it's going slow, northbound not too bad. So again, keeping a close eye on this new crash for you as you're heading out the door. Still following this one stalled vehicle, I-85 northbound, we do still have some delays with it. It's really between exits 35 and 36 where you could encounter just a little bit of slow moving traffic, but I'm not seeing anything too extreme. Once we're heading over to I-485, this one also ongoing. It's actually off to the shoulder, so that is helpful. I-485, that's the outer loop here at Rocky River Road.
Thanks, Majestic. Well, this morning we're learning more about how the local nonprofit Sustain Charlotte is seeking solutions after a pedestrian was hit and killed. Now, this push comes after the death of 25-year-old Lance Sotelo last week in Noda. Now folks are calling on city leaders to bring back red light cameras for the first time in 20 years. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane joins us live this morning from the plaza. He has more on the history of red light cameras here in Charlotte. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning to you, Autumn. Good morning, Lisa. Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Yeah, there was a tragic accident where that man, Lance Sotelo, as you say, was struck and killed right here at this intersection of 36th and the Plaza. Now, one group says that if there were a red light camera here, maybe that tragedy would not have happened. Now, the situation is the Sustain Charlotte says it's very important to have those cameras because Lance Sotelo, who was trying to cross the street, was tragically struck and killed. That's added growing concerns about pedestrian safety across the city. Sustain Charlotte says that the red light cameras could be one tool to help reduce dangerous driving behaviors. Charlotte previously used red light cameras from '98 to 2006. During that time, data showed intersection crashes dropped by about 30%. The program captured drivers who ran those red lights and then they were mailed citations, but it was eventually suspended due to financial concerns. Advocates say bringing the cameras back could help change drivers' behavior and prevent future tragedies. But city leaders later considered the idea again as part of the Vision Zero plan, but instead prioritized speed cameras after determining that speeding was contributing to more fatal crashes. But Sustain Charlotte says these red light cameras would also help reduce these kind of incidents.
Shouldn't be your last trip, whether you're leaving your house, going to work, doing what you need to do. That should not be a fatal decision. Red light cameras plus a bunch of other different techniques and design changes need to be put in as soon as possible because this is a emergency. People are dying and losing their lives.
I think like retroactively people will get fined for it and then afterwards they might be a bit more careful. But I think in the heat of the moment, there's only so much it'll do.
Yeah, some people agree with that. Actually, some states agree with that. A number of states have actually banned red light cameras. And one of those states, South Carolina. We're right here off of the plaza. Richard Devane, we'll send it back to you.
Richard, thanks. 8:07 now. An investigation is underway following a shooting in Pageland. The Chesterfield County Sheriff's Office tells us it happened on McCray Road, that's just off Boyd Evans. The Sheriff's Office says several agencies are involved in the investigation. We are working to find out if there were any injuries. We've also yet to hear back about a suspect. Today, the man accused of setting a fire that injured a firefighter in North Charlotte will appear in court. Police say 29-year-old Kendrick Palmer used a flammable liquid to set the fire at this storage facility on Reams Road last Thursday. $10,000 in damage was reported. That firefighter was treated for minor injuries. Palmer faces multiple charges, including arson. He's being held without bond. After nearly a decade as a fugitive, Alejandro Castillo, one of the FBI's most wanted suspects, is another step closer to facing justice in Charlotte. Castillo, who is accused of killing 23-year-old Sandy Lee in 2016, was captured in Mexico over the weekend. He was caught after surveillance video showed him crossing into Mexico a day after Lee's body was discovered. Attorney Tim Kennedy, who has experience with similar cases, says the extradition process is a lengthy one that involves several agencies, including the FBI, U.S. Marshals, and Homeland Security.
Between 60 and 90 days, I will say, even when we're talking about interstate fugitives, the transfer schedules are kept very, very secretive. When you're dealing with somebody like this, who has been on the top 10 most wanted,
Kennedy says given Castillo's history, he expects the court to keep him in jail without bond.
Before we head to break, here's an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey, our team tests a ton of products. We get rid of the rejects. We only bring you the best. I'm obsessed with this one. Professor Amos Fast Toilet and Tank Cleaner. It's so much more than a toilet cleaner because it cleans the bowl, but it also, come on in here, cleans the tank. This is what gets all corroded and rusty and causes you to have to buy a brand new toilet, which costs you so much money. So what's actually happening in here? How does it work? Watch this. Oh, you don't have a giant toilet bowl in the middle of your house with a clear tank? Our experts built this, so we can show you how this works. So you literally take it and you just have literally an ounce. You just do it right against there. Look at that color changing technology. That's how you know it's working. It's gripping onto the grime and the rust, and it's yanking it off, and it's cleaning it. What's so important about this is, come on in, it's cleaning the hardware. That's what's saving you all the money, so you don't have to replace your toilet bowl. And then in here, you just kind of come in under like this. And one other thing that's amazing about this, and then you just stick the brush in. One thing that's amazing about this, most toilet bowl cleaners, it turns out, have bleach in them. That destroys the finish. This doesn't have any bleach in it. And I'm gonna, hold on a minute, I'm gonna flush this. Come on in again, and you can actually see it cleaning in real time, all those bubbles. Really, really cool. We have a great deal on this for you today. Normally $29.95, today only $21.95, 27% off. Love that. Grab it while supplies last. You know this is gonna go fast. Just scan the QR code on your screen or visit shoptvdeals.com.
The time is now 8:13. Neighborhood patrols and rapid response networks have formed in Minnesota as ICE enforcement operations continue in the state. Community volunteers take turns monitoring neighborhoods for federal immigration vehicles and alerting residents in real time. Members coordinate through encrypted messaging apps, sharing live updates when immigration agents are seen nearby.
If any of us see something, we can just unmute ourselves and let people know what we're seeing, you know, where they are, what direction they're heading in. And then there's people all over the neighborhood who are following that signal chat, and if they see a message that ICE is, you know, passing through their block or getting out of their cars on their block or the next block over, they're ready to run out.
Volunteers say they are stepping up to protect one another and that their presence is intended to reduce tensions and to ensure accountability.
Protests continue in Minnesota against the Trump administration's immigration enforcement actions, and now the Justice Department is appealing a judge's order restricting how federal agents respond to demonstrators. Reed Binion report says the fight is also playing out in the courts.
Anti-ICE protesters interrupting service at a St. Paul, Minnesota church on Sunday.
Renee Good.
The demonstrators said they were there to protest a top ICE official in the Twin Cities who apparently also serves as a pastor. Within hours, the Justice Department announced an investigation into the protesters. The demonstration, another example of growing tensions in Minnesota, coming as the Pentagon orders roughly 1,500 active duty soldiers to prepare for possible deployment to the state. Meanwhile, a lawyer for the family of Renee Good, who was fatally shot by an ICE agent earlier this month, is pushing for an investigation.
Let's let an investigator get all the facts and ultimately a judge or jury determine.
Sources now say the FBI did initially open a civil rights investigation into the agent who shot Good, but the focus quickly shifted to whether the agent was assaulted, with the probe now focused on the conduct of Good and those around her, including her widow. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said the Justice Department only investigates law enforcement shootings when it's appropriate, and, quote, that's not the case here.
Todd Blanche is telling us that he's determining on his own that that was a defensible act without an investigation.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
The search is on for a suspect who shot 2 police officers in Portland, Oregon, Monday evening. Authorities have blocked off a large part in the Lloyd district, and dozens of police units are in the area. Officials have told residents to stay indoors, while officers in tactical gear and carrying rifles are looking for the person responsible for the incident. Right now, there's no word on a possible motive.
One person is recovering in Cambridge, Massachusetts after an SUV crashed into a building. Take a look at this video. It shows that car smashing through the windows of a commercial property. Police say the officers tried to stop the SUV after learning it had been reported stolen in Boston. The driver, though, took off. Officers didn't chase it because of safety concerns. A short time later, that SUV slammed into the building. Police say one person inside was seriously injured. And the death toll continues to rise in that tragic train crash in Spain. According to officials there, at least 40 people were killed Sunday night when the tail end of a high-speed train jumped its tracks and was hit by another train coming the other way. About 75 others were injured. It's still not clear what caused that crash. It happened on a track that had been recently renovated. That train jumped its tracks and was less than 4 years old. Officials have promised a full investigation.
The winter weather is not here yet, but maybe this is the time for maybe people go crazy, say, oh no, this is happening, that your tires lose 1 to 2 psi every 10 degrees the temperatures drop. Well, it wasn't too long ago we were in the 70s. Check those tires in the next couple of days to make sure you have the best traction in case we do have ice or snow. The full report, the full forecast, the newest update coming up right after this break.
This is Zoe Sprinkle, time for Tuesday Tail Wagger, along with the friends at Animal Care and Control. This time last week we featured
The dog with a big heart, Kelly. Kelly is still there, still waiting for a forever home. Maybe it'll happen today, maybe this week. Let's bring on today's tail wagger, Bailey. Bailey is a sweetheart. And right now, she is in foster care. The foster family says this is the perfect pet. She's about 4 years old, weighs right around 45 pounds, can be very playful, and then on the other hand, very docile. She's house trained, loves her crate, loves small dogs, knows lots of commands. So what more could he ask for than Bailey, our very special tail wagger? By the way, Animal Care Control is open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, both days, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. One more time, check her out. Bailey is about 4 years old, weighs right around 45 pounds, just a real sweetheart. That's Bailey. She's our very special Tuesday tail wagger.
Thanks a lot, Larry, and thanks a lot, Bailey. Temperatures in the mid to the upper 40s today, and then just shy of 50 degrees, sunshine galore. That's the best thing about today, the sunshine sticking around, and that's what I want us all to focus in on. That, yes, it is colder than normal, but we have sunnier skies, a great situation, because what is about to come, not so great. We have either side of 20 degrees, 38 degrees for your Thursday morning because of the cloud cover, 44 because of the same reason, and then you start to get to that freezing point and below, and that's where we're questioning what's going to be happening. Today, I don't think you have a cloud in the sky, just like yesterday. By tomorrow, though, we have some upper-level clouds. Clouds start to increase in the mountains, and then by the evening and the overnight, check out these clouds that start to roll in. These will start to break through your Thursday morning, so we'll have more sunshine, returning our highs to right around 60 degrees. So this was an easy choice for my pick of the week, and then we will have a slight chance for rain overnight, but then I think it's more so later on Friday, they're going to have some rain roll in. So our pick of the week, Thursday, because this day stands out from all the rest for our high temperatures by far. And then by the weekend, well, the opposite. 37 degrees for a high on Saturday, 26. That's right, 26 on Sunday. I think that we have that colder air that digs in. Plus, oftentimes whenever you get snow, it can make the atmosphere just cooler. And the biggest cause of concern that I've been mentioning is I think we're going to have our heaviest precipitation overnight Saturday into Sunday. If this is more of a daytime thing, we got some warm air that was nudging in. If that happens, you're looking at widespread ice accumulation and snow accumulation, just depending on what side you're going to be on Saturday night into Sunday. So that's why we're watching that really closely. But another thing outside of just what's going to fall from the sky, that's still an unknown. One thing that we do know for sure, boy, is it going to be cold. Because our wind chills on Saturday around 9 a.m. already down into the teens to single digits, feeling like 3 around Boone. So that means the winds are picking up out of that colder direction. Plus, we're only in the 30s. By the time we get to Sunday, where we could have some active freezing rain, we could have some active snow. Single-digit wind chills. That's right, single-digit wind chills across the area. And it doesn't improve too much for your Sunday. Maybe feeling like a balmy 12 to 17 a little bit later on. Things improved Monday, but then back again on Tuesday morning, we could have a wind chill as cold as 0. So just letting you know that there is likely that this weekend we will have two things: a winter storm warning and a cold weather advisory. And then next Tuesday, we could even have an extreme cold warning for the Charlotte area. So not only are we getting our biggest winter storm, we also could have some of our coldest feeling air of the season as well. Oh joy, what January likes to bring, and what the SCDOT cameras like to bring around Gold Hill with a majestic storm.
Take a look at some of those roads as you're heading out the door this morning. It is cold, it is beautiful, and yes, it is still busy. 8:23 right now if you're heading out the door anytime soon. This is what I-77 is looking like if you're coming in from York County, heading into Mecklenburg County. And then a couple of things to mention. This one is our first thing. I-77 southbound at Trade Street. There is an accident there, specifically out towards exit 10. Seeing those delays that are in place. Here's one of our live camera looks of that specific area, so just kind of a snapshot of the camera there near Trade Street. So if you drive that way, I would allow for a little extra drive time. The second thing to note is this new crash. This is going to be right here on Tryon Street, impacting mainly really the northbound lanes at Tyvola Center Drive. And then third thing is this here is still not cleared. It's going to be I-85 northbound, where we do have some delays because of a stalled vehicle. They are getting it off to the side, but I think it's just kind of slow slow moving right around it. Once we're heading over towards the east, this is 485, where we do still have a little bit of a delay, but that was just cleared, so making some progress. And all this red, those inbound lanes mainly on I-77. No big accident. Remember, the I-77 accident that we just talked about is southbound, but still those northbound lanes will be slow moving as people are heading towards Uptown.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. Make sure that you keep it right here, streaming live on WCNC+. We'll be back at 8:30.
Beautiful Carolina blues across the horizon. Good morning, everybody. Let's make it a great day. Yes, it's cold, but it will get colder later on in the week and get a little messy as well. Futurecast showing a whole lot of nothing. So that means wall-to-wall sunshine, not a cloud in the sky today. Few clouds, upper-level clouds join us by tomorrow. We will see a surge of cloud cover Wednesday night into Thursday, but then Thursday still sitting pretty. One of my favorite days this week. It's the warmest. Then this weekend, we are weather alert for both days because a chance of snow, sleet, freezing rain, all the above. All of winter's weapons could be heading towards the Carolinas, so keep that in mind. Jerry Hudson Super Center 7-day forecast. You can see that 59, why it's my pick of the week, because after that, we have rain and clouds and 50, the 30s, the 20s. Wind chills in the single digits. Not a great setup. We'll keep you updated as that draws a little bit closer, just as Majestic's keeping you updated right now for your morning commute.
Let's do it. Good morning, everyone. This is I-77. I want you to pay attention to this because Trade Street exit, we are following a crash there. That's going to be those southbound lanes where we are seeing a lot more congestion compared to those northbound lanes where it seems to be flowing just fine. You can see it right here as we switch it over to my map, that specific spot I just mentioned. Still seeing those delays if you're coming in on I-77 southbound. We're following this and more coming up on WCNC+.
We are streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Autumn Bracey in for Ben Thompson. Well, a chill is in the air this morning and the sun is out. We know it's expected to get even colder further in the week, Chris.
At least we have that sunshine for the time being. Focus in on what we have. Live in the moment, y'all, because a winter storm is trending way up. Now, I'm talking about way up. I was hesitant. I almost showed you a ridiculous snowfall map, but I was too worried that someone would have the volume down and say, did you see, Martha, what Chris was calling for? Because no, some of the models are really out to lunch calling for 3 feet of snow. That's not happening. So I'm just letting you know the models are all over the place, but they're trending up instead of down. Oftentimes at this point, 4 to 5 days out, we're like, okay, it could rain, it could snow, it could sleet, it could have freezing rain. We're now just saying what winter precipitation type are we going to have? So it's cold and it's a sunny afternoon, but the warm up that we have heading into Thursday will be short-lived before that winter weather is blasting in. So we're weather alert this weekend. That's starting late Saturday and through Sunday. I think the worst the action is late Saturday and early Sunday, but still, if you have snow and ice, it's going to impact the entire day and even into your Monday morning. Here's where it all begins. This storm is born over Texas, and it is going to do big things coming from big state. We're talking about a chance for some snow flurries, very light snow, early on Saturday. So I think you see the snow, but you really don't see vast accumulations until you get to about the late afternoon and evening. At that point, these are going to be very, very light and slight. That's what this color represents. But once these colors darken up a little bit, wait for it. Wait for it. I think things are frozen. All right, there we go. That's showing that we're having some much heavier precipitation at that point. So that's why, again, I'm calling from about 7 p.m. until 7 a.m. that we have most of the accumulations, especially right around sunrise. The concern is we get snow and then we get ice on top. Regardless, it's not a good situation because, one, that's going to ruin the snowball making. You kind of want to over after that. But you could have widespread freezing rain that is moving in. The one thing the models can't decide on is, number one, how much precipitation is going to be here. And number two, what's going to fall? Is it freezing rain? Is it sleet? Or is it snow? But if you notice, that green is far, far away so far from the Charlotte area. Maybe you get a little surge of warmer air, but right now it is not trending that direction. So right now, the two main paths that we're looking at is either this pink one or this lavender colored one. One brings the most snow, one brings the most ice. Because the further south that you go, it's about 100 miles north to northwest of a low pressure system that has that swath of the heaviest snow. And this is what it looks like for our winter chances. Our winter weather chances, this is anywhere from accumulating ice to actually snow. We now have a 50 to 70% chance for up to 2 to 3 inches of snow and a 1/4 inch of ice. So you can reverse either one of those. The thing is, once we get to day 4 to day 3, these models are going to be even more specific. We're going to start to see chances by tomorrow and Thursday of what's our chance at 1 inch of snow. 2 inches of snow. What's our chances of a 1/4 inch of ice? Well, as of right now, we actually have a solid chance for a 1/4 inch of ice at least, especially south of I-85, with not a lot of melting after that. Another model, Model 2, showing even more than that. Now, I think a lot of these are out to lunch, kind of showing you that the dominant feature that we have for precipitation is all freezing rain. So from 4 to 7, that's our greatest impacts that we have going forward. My best day is Thursday. My worst days, by far, is going to be Sunday with some lingering impacts after that. Coming up next, I'm going to focus in strictly on temperatures because that's pretty much all you need to know for the most recent run. But as we know, things will likely change. Let's see what's changed for our morning commute with Majestic.
Good morning, everyone. I'm following I-77 here. Southbound lanes being impacted because of a crash at Trade Street. Notice northbound lanes are flowing just fine. No problems heading that direction. So if you're taking I-77 southbound, just allow for a little bit of extra drive time because you can see cars. They're still moving. They're just moving a little slower than they typically would if we didn't have that accident. Let me point out exactly what I'm talking about. It's going to be right here where we have that red, that stop and go traffic on I-77. stop and go for at least 1 to 2 miles. Specifically, the accident happened there at exit 10. Once we zoom it out, though, you can see 485 is going to be slow moving traffic in Independence inbound, still following this stalled vehicle right here, still bringing some slow moving impacts between exits 35 and 36. That's I-85 where we are seeing that stalled vehicle northbound lane specifically. And then once we zoom it out here, I wanted to show you 485 on the west side of Uptown from Berry Hill out towards Shopton. It's going to be a little slow moving on those outer loops of 485. And then, of course, I-85 slow moving inbound, but no accidents there. Lisa.
Happening today, a man will face a judge for the first time after a deadly crash in Rowan County. According to Highway Patrol, Juan Alvarado Aguilera was driving on Amity Hill Road Friday night when he crossed the center line and hit a Honda Civic. The driver and passenger of that car, 21-year-old Mark Harris and Skylar Provenza, were both killed. Aguilera now faces several charges, including felony death by vehicle and DWI. He is in jail with a $250,000 bond.
Today across the nation and right here in Charlotte, protesters plan to take to the street voicing their opposition to President Trump. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards joins us live this morning in Uptown, where later tonight people will gather in the hopes their voices will be heard. Destiny.
Yeah, people will be gathering here at First Ward Park once again to seek an end to ICE operations and also call for justice for Renee Good, for Keith Porter, and others they say have been impacted by immigration enforcement. And this is also one of several demonstrations happening across the country today on what marks the 1-year anniversary of the start of President Trump's second term. Now, organizers with the Party for Socialism and Liberation Charlotte say tonight's protest will begin at 5 p.m. at First Ward Park. They're calling the action Stop ICE Terror, accusing the Trump administration of using federal immigration enforcement in ways they say target working class and immigrant communities. The Charlotte protest is one of many happening across the country today as national groups, including Women's March, call for a Free America walkout. Supporters are being encouraged to walk out of work or school at 2 p.m. local time or participate before or after work hours as a collective response to concerns over immigration policy, labor issues, and civil rights. Now, several organizations in the Charlotte area are supporting this protest happening at 5 p.m. Some of those organizations are Carolina Migrant Network and Jewish Voice for Peace Charlotte. And this is also a peaceful demonstration, organizers say. They say this is all about seeking accountability, justice, and immigration reform. Live in Uptown, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
Destiny, thank you. Approaching 8:38 now. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker just wrapped up his speaking tour through parts of South Carolina. The senator gave the keynote speech Monday at the annual King Day at the Dome event in Columbia. We brought that to you live here on WCNC+. Senator Booker says folks can focus on local elections to impact real change.
And we don't carry with us the fierce urgency of now, then we have failed as inheritors. We have squandered the wealth. We have surrendered the power. Because what can you say of the American dream today? Well, I will tell you what I believe. I believe it is time that in our generation, we redeem the dream.
Well, check this out. Democrats in 12 states, including North and South Carolina, are vying to lead the 2028 presidential primary calendar. The move comes as the party weighs its strategy after problems with the 2020 Iowa caucus. South Carolina previously held the first Democratic primary in 2024. The DNC says a panel will review applications later this month.
A major fight over new childhood vaccine rules is headed to court. Why top medical groups say the changes are dangerous. That's next. More than half a dozen major medical groups are suing to overturn recent changes to the CDC's childhood vaccine recommendations. The lawsuit alleges the new guidelines are reckless and put children at risk. The updated schedule limits several vaccines to only higher risk children and shifts others to parent-doctor decision-making. The lawsuit asks the federal court to restore the previous vaccine schedule from last April. It was filed Monday in U.S. District Court in Massachusetts. The latest CDC data shows that while flu cases remain elevated across the country, the amount of activity has decreased or stayed stable for 2 consecutive weeks.
However, deaths linked to flu are trending upward, and health experts are bracing for the potential of a second round of the virus. CNN's Mandy Gaither talks to a pediatrician about why children are one of the groups at highest risk and how to protect them.
In the U.S., hospitalizations for flu in children younger than age 18 have the highest peak weekly rate in more than 15 years. And in the latest week of data, there were 15 flu-related pediatric deaths for a total of 32 reported child deaths associated with flu this season. The CDC says 90% of those who died were not fully vaccinated against flu.
Children, especially under the age of 2, they're pretty small. And when they're still small, you get something that's just so inflammatory, like influenza. When it gets into your lungs, it causes a lot of inflammation.
Dr. Frank Esper with Cleveland Clinic Children says the best protection against severe disease is for adults and children 6 months and older to get a flu shot.
By protecting yourself against influenza, you're also protecting everybody in your family.
Washing hands and highly touched surfaces can also help prevent the spread. For young children, especially at preschool, Esper recommends an adult using an alcohol-based rub to remove germs.
Alcohol is actually a better way to clean off their hands than to use soap and water.
If a child is sick, Esper says to keep them home, and you can also consider masking.
We masked up during the first rounds of COVID. We saw flu just drop because everybody was staying away from each other. Everybody was masking when they were out, and flu couldn't get through that.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
U.S. health officials are putting a major spotlight on protein, urging Americans to prioritize it at every meal and even double their previous daily intake. New guidelines promote animal-based proteins while giving less emphasis to plant-based options.
But many nutrition experts say that most people already get enough protein and warn that eating too much can lead to weight gain and higher diabetes risk. Some experts also worry the guidance will fuel even more processed high-protein snacks, confusing consumers about what healthy eating really looks like. It is time now to connect the dots. That's when we make the news make sense. Weight loss drugs are changing more than waistlines. They're also quietly reshaping what's on the menu at some of America's biggest restaurant chains. The rise of weight loss drugs is quietly changing menu options at many restaurants. Let's connect the dots. For millions of Americans, medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Zepbound suppress appetite and slow digestion, so people tend to eat less but focus on nutrient-dense foods. In response, some big chains are redesigning their menus to offer smaller portions and higher protein options, often at lower prices. For example, Subway rolled out protein pockets, Chipotle added a high-protein menu with snack-sized cups of chicken or steak, and Shake Shack has lettuce-wrapped burgers and other protein-forward choices. Nutrition experts caution that more protein alone isn't always healthier. Balanced meals still need carbohydrates, fats, and other nutrients. Restaurants say this meets customer demand for smaller, balanced meals, not just from those on GLP-1 drugs, but for anyone paying more attention to protein and portion size. And that's connecting the dots.
Well, have you ever wondered if it can snow if the temperature is above freezing? Our meteorologist Becca Birdsall gives you the answer to that next. Well, as we are bracing for a weather alert weekend, there's a common misconception that it can't snow when it's above 32 degrees.
Now, although it hasn't happened yet to us, meteorologist Becca Birdsall explains how this can happen in this morning's Weather IQ.
Snow doesn't care about the temperature at the ground nearly as much as it cares about the temperature where the snow forms way up in the clouds. Snowflakes form thousands of feet above our heads, where temperatures are well below freezing. So even if it's 34 or 36 degrees at the surface, it's much colder up in the clouds.
As snowflakes fall, they pass through warmer air. If that warm layer is shallow, the flakes don't have enough time to melt completely, so they can reach the ground as snow. Think of it like this. It's a race between gravity, pulling the snow down, and warm air trying to melt it. Sometimes gravity wins. Here's a different scenario. When snow falls into dry air, some of it evaporates. Evaporation steals heat from the air, cooling it down, and can drop temperatures just enough to keep snow from melting. Now, when snow is falling hard, it actually cools the air as it falls. That can pull surface temperatures down from, say, 35 to 32 in a hurry, especially early in a storm. But it doesn't always stick. Even if it's snowing, warm ground can melt it on contact. That's why roads stay wet while grass or rooftops can turn white first. So yes, it can snow above 32 degrees because snowflakes are born in colder air, fall fast, cool the atmosphere on the way down, and sometimes beat the melt. With the Weather Impact Team, I'm meteorologist Becca Birdsall.
Excellent job, Becca. And there is a scenario that could happen on Saturday, but I want to go through two different models and compare and talk about snow. Now, number one, it looks like it could snow first, then freezing rain, but all of them are showing that we have some sort of rain that moves through on Friday. So this is model one, showing our first signs of snow. Let me get my big old head out of the way. This is around 1 p.m., showing a sign of maybe some flurries. I think this is barely hitting the ground, but then by your Saturday evening, and this is the reason why I'm calling it from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m., so Saturday 7 p.m. till Sunday 7 a.m., that's where I think you're going to have the heaviest precipitation. I think that window is going to waver and move a little bit, but that looks to be the sweet spot. Also, if any heavy precipitation arrives at that time, it's going to be much colder, and it's not going to be a good scenario. This model specifically shows heavy accumulating snow, especially north of I-85 by 6 o'clock before heavy freezing rain replaces it. So you're talking about snow with ice on top of it. That's going to ruin the snowballs and the making of that. So you don't like that for the kids whatsoever, but you also don't like it for your drive because this model keeps freezing rain for most of the day. Model number two. This is on Saturday. This one is a little bit more favorable for freezing rain, and I don't like this one as much because this one shows a chance of some flurries and some very light freezing drizzle heading into the evening hours. But this one has heavy snow along the I-40 corridor and just straight freezing rain from I-85 down towards the south. That would be at least a quarter to a half inch of freezing rain or pure ice. That's going to shut down the city if that's the case in scenario. So even with the outside chance that this changes, I still want everyone to kind of make some adjustments this weekend. I can't tell you what to do, but if this comes true, you do not want to be out in the roads because you physically won't be able to stop, especially if there's any hills. And then bringing into your Sunday afternoon, things start to fade out. I think you see another blast of snow before it's finally out of here. There's a long ways to go, and there's so much that can change here. But I just want everyone just to note it's not a good-looking weekend, and everyone just needs to be on guard because this winter weather impacts some accumulations possible for snow, but icy roads might even be moved up to the extreme level. And if we have that sort of ice, there's even a chance for power outages. We do not want that excessive amount of snow. Right now, it looks like it's a guarantee we're going to have precipitation regardless for this coming Saturday and some colder temperatures. Check it out. Once that snow moves in, once that ice moves in, right around 20 degrees, even with some mornings in the teens. So get ready with some cold, cold highs, not even above freezing for over 24 hours. Saturday night, Sunday, into Monday morning. All right, Majestic, one last look here on WCNC Plus with traffic.
Let's do it. Good morning, everyone. This is going to be I-85 if you're heading out for your morning commute. Mile marker 46, that's near Mallard Creek. You can see conditions actually look great. Not seeing any big problems there on I-85 at this time. Once we switch it over to my map, a few things to point out. This is going to be something new for us this morning. East of Uptown, a crash here on Harrisburg Road at Denver Drive. We are seeing yellow coming in both directions, meaning that we do have some small delays there. Once we head over towards I-77, this is not cleared quite yet. Still stop and go traffic southbound lanes. Exit 10 is where there is a crash. That's Trade Street. Once we zoom it out and go back in, this is another thing that we're watching here. One lane is blocked because of a crash. This is new right here on Tryon Street. This is going to be northbound lanes. It'll be impacted right before Tyvola Road. And then one last thing to highlight. Once we're looking towards Uptown, yes, we have those delays on I-77, but this here has been ongoing for over an hour. It's not completely cleared yet. We're seeing those delays on I-85 northbound between exits 35 and 36 because of this stalled vehicle. We'll have another check on traffic coming up here soon, but for now, let's send things over to Autumn because she's going to give you some advice for this upcoming weekend storm system and when it comes to traveling out on those roads.
All right, thanks, Majestic. We know a lot of people may need it. Before we leave, here are some things you want to keep in mind when driving in these upcoming wintry weather conditions. Now, first, you always want to remember that smooth is safe. There's no hard braking, sharp turns, or quick acceleration. Next, you want to remember to steer through a skid, so you're encouraged to just take your foot off the pedal and gently steer where you want the car to go. And as always, don't forget to increase the space in between your car and other cars. So that means you need to leave about 3 to 4 times more distance than usual. And make sure to watch those bridges and overpasses. For those who take routes that use them, know that they freeze before other roads. And last but not least, no cruise control. On slick roads, it's important to have full control of your car. And if anything looks wet, you are encouraged to treat it like ice. At 8:55, we're going to take a quick break, but keep it here on WCNC. We will have much more. Our own Jay Monreal will be taking over the top of the hour from our Impact studio. She'll have more on Donna Dunlap with Big Brothers Big Sisters mentorship coming up next.
We are looking at a beautiful day across the board, not a cloud in the sky, and then it looks like today is going to be a cooler one than yesterday. Yesterday had 50 degrees, upper 40s, but at least we have that sunshine. Going forward, though, we do have my pick of the week, right around 60 degrees on Thursday, and after that, I'm blocking it. Boy, do we have some chaos. So on Friday, the rain rolls in. It's cloudier, high temperature barely even hitting 50 degrees. But on Saturday, it looks like we have a chance for flurries, followed by a chance for snow, changing over to freezing rain, and eventually could change back over to snow. There's still some changes that can happen, but just letting you know, we are now officially weather alert for your late Saturday, Saturday night, and Sunday. especially heading into Sunday morning. A lot can change, especially if it's that ice scenario, so try to avoid travel if you can. Make some changes in the near term. All right, let's see what's changed for our morning commute. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. If you're just waking up, it is cold but beautiful out there. Not seeing any problems on I-85. That's out near Mallard Creek. One thing to know before you go, though, it's going to be east of Uptown. A crash right here on Harrisburg Road at Denver Drive. We do have some slow-moving traffic right around there. And then another delay. Southbound lanes on I-77 at Trade Street exit. You will have stop-and-go traffic at times.